Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen and this is Jen Restyle and Fashion. Today we are working on what I would like to say is a very easy upcycle, but it's a technique that you can use just about anywhere. I have used this on denim before, I've used it on leather, and now we're using it on suiting. So I have two men's suit jackets, and the first one I am going to use to create a kind of a mini dress, but then I'm also going to take the second jacket and I'm going to create a skirt. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my foil pieces that I'm going to use are going to fit appropriately. You guys have seen me do this foil method on denim before, but you've not seen me do the foil method on a suit jacket. So the first thing I'm doing is laying the gold foil out on the jacket to see where do I need to cut it, how much coverage am I going to get, and this looks like this is going to be sufficient. So you do have to make sure when you are working with this gold foil or the silver foil, you have to make sure that you are using it on the right side. Now, as you can see, I started off on the wrong side, so just make sure that the shiny gold or silver is facing up towards you. And then I'm going to use this adhesive. It's not a regular type of glue. It is specially made for this type of gold transfer or silver transfer, foil transfer. So it's very important that you use the product that I have linked below. It is also linked in my LTK store. You can find it. Actually, I only have been able to find it on Amazon. I looked for it in Joann's and Michael's, and I was not able to find it at all. Now, I initially went in very lightly with the glue and with the adhesive before putting the foil down, but in hindsight, I should have put more adhesive down. I'm going in and I'm adding a little extra, and you'll see how this is gonna turn out. So all you do is you spread the adhesive out in the areas where you want the foil to show up. And then you're going to take your iron, no steam, and you're basically going to place it on the gold foil and press it down. Try not to wiggle too much. I'm just moving it ever so slightly, but you really want to keep it still and lift it. Try not to drag it, especially on that first press. Try not to drag it as much. Just press it down and press it down in the places where you want it to attach. Now, this will attach almost immediately. However, I like to let it sit overnight and then go back to it the next day and remove the foil. All right, we are back at it. It is the next day. I was so tired yesterday, but I realized that I still hadn't finished one of the sleeves. So I had to go back and redo, or not redo, but actually do the sleeve. So now's the time for the reveal. Let's bring you guys a little closer. Let's start up here. Ooh, I like. It's just enough. It's good. More here. Yeah, so I got a lot up here, but not a lot down here. We might have to go back in. the way that looks. It's like almost painted on. What did I do in the back that was different? Like, I really like this because it's like embedded in the fabric. I still feel like it needs more in here, only because there's so much going on here. I do need to stitch down the back because this is supposed to be a dress. And so these brass pins are going here. Okay. That's what's going to keep it closed. And then that's it. So I'm gonna go in and put a little more in here and down here because I don't want this glue. That's where I tested it out. I should have tested it out. I mean, I tested it out in the right place. This was where I knew this was gonna overlap. So if anything went wrong, it would be okay. As I stated earlier, I really wish that I had used more of the adhesive on the jacket. So I ended up going back and adding more to the jacket and taking some gold strips and laying them on top and just using my smaller Cricut heat press to get those small areas because my iron was too large to use in these smaller spaces. So I have this small mini heat press from my Cricut stash and it works just perfect. All right, so later on that day, it's time to give this jacket some shape. This jacket is slightly oversized. What I ended up doing is I took the sleeves out and I readjusted the shoulders so that it wasn't so big, and then I put the sleeves back into the jacket. That is an upcycle for another day. I will show you how to do that properly, but for right now I'm just going in and I'm peeling off the rest of the gold and just overlapping the front to see, is this exactly how I want it to look. Now, if you notice in the back, it is pretty loose fitting. So I'm going to use some gold pins in the jacket and I'm going to pin and cinch in the waist. I'm also going to cinch in the front and any other areas that I feel require a little more shape. I'm using these larger pins to close the front of the jacket. They're a little more heavy and I think they add a really nice design feature to the front of the jacket. Now I'm peeling off the rest of the gold and I love the way it filled in. I use my iron mitt along with my mini heat press to just put a little bit extra in there. Now we're moving on to the skirt. I have this black blazer that I thrifted and it was about the same weight as the jacket that we put the foil on already, and it was just slightly longer, so it's just enough to squeeze a wrap skirt out of. And the jacket, I think you could get away with it by itself, but I think it would look better if it had a little hint of a skirt peeping out from underneath it. So I am measuring to see how long I can make this skirt based on the shape of the jacket. And it looks like it's going to be just fine. To create the skirt, I'm using the same process that I used for the jacket. This time, you notice I put a little more adhesive on there. I wanted to really make sure it was covered so that it didn't look like it was just some navy blue skirt up underneath a jacket. and I was very generous with the adhesive for this portion. The removal process went very well, and I'm so pleased on how it came out. Now, the next thing that has to happen is the skirt needs to be finished. Of course, the top had a raw edge, so I used some double fold bias tape to trim around the top of the skirt. And this way I didn't have to fold over my raw edges. I didn't have to figure out how I was gonna hide all of that. I'll just use the double fold bias tape. Always comes through in a clutch. So I'm just gonna attach this from one end to the other. Now you can finish off the skirt, the best way that you know how. You can use my method. You could add a waistband. You could add elastic if you wanted to. I just added some darts. I did try it on first. I added some darts. I put 2 darts in the back and I put 1 dart in the front. And the way this skirt closes is with those 2 large pins overlapping in the front of the skirt. This holds it together really well, but you could also use buttons or snaps. There's a lot of different ways that you can close up this skirt, so don't feel like you have to do it exactly like this. The double fold bias tape is what I highly recommend using to finish this off. That's it, guys, and this is the lovely Alana wearing my piece at the show in December of 2024. This is the Nightmare Before Christmas show that was held in the Beverly Hills area of Chicago, and I think she wore it very well. It was a great fit on her, and I was super pleased the way she showed it on the runway. And that's it, you guys. All right, I hope you enjoyed this technique, and if you're looking for more upcycles, check right here on the screen. You will see an upcycle that also used the foil method, and I think it turned out really well. I did it with denim. Check it out, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.